As someone who had a passing interest in the cyberpunk genre growing up, and not much else, the past few years have actually seen my interest in the genre widen, as I've been involved in some pen and paper games of Shadowrun, and even more recently having had not one, but two really good games released by Harebrained Schemes in the past 2 years alone, set in the Shadowrun universe. So upon seeing an extended gameplay sequence of Dex by Dreadlocks Limited, I was ready to dive in and try a more action-oriented game set in a similar universe. And while I've enjoyed my time with the game overall, I'm not sure I can currently recommend the game right now. The game casts you as Dex, and throws you headfirst right into her journey as she is forced to flee from the dreaded Complex, who are chasing her down for reasons unknown. Your partner in this escape is Raycast, a disembodied voice who gives you a crash course on hacking and sends you on your way. Along the way, you will engage with a cast of characters whose names must have been pulled out of a cyberpunk by numbers glossary. I mean, for goodness sakes, the main contact you deal with in the beginning is named Decker. I can't make this kind of crap up. And if the names weren't generic enough, the stereotypes on hand are just as bad, with the nerdy hacker being an overweight guy with a whiny voice. In fact, all around the voice acting in this game just seems slightly off. Like everyone only gave half a damn about the stuff that they were reading. So it kind of deflates any kind of significance the story might actually have felt. And it would have been more substantial, but in the end it just feels like poorly acted radio play. Which is sad because the actual world that has been crafted is the game's strongest part.
Oh, me and Decker, we go with...
The character models, as well as all of the backgrounds and animations, looks to be where the most time was spent on the game, and it really does look like something out of Blade Runner for sure, with a bustle of people in the populated areas, and the slums looking like an abandoned industrial district where folks with nowhere left to go have decided to just make it into some kind of home. All in all, the game is almost worth buying just to appreciate what the devs have crafted, but then you actually have to play the game, and this is where it eventually falls apart. Since this is an action game, you of course have to deal with your fair share of platforming as well as combat. It seems so many games I've played recently, Axiom Verge excluded, have had controls that I feel like I'm fighting with half the time, and this game is no exception. Moving around the environment is fine if not smooth, but it's the combat in this game where it really needs some serious work. In the beginning, you're pretty much stuck doing melee attacks, which animate nicely and will work just fine if the controls didn't always seem to be fighting me on what they want to do. In most cases, I just found myself wailing on the attack button next to a guy until he decided to try and flee, and makes trying to finish off the enemies a chore. Not to mention the fact that enemies will juke and shimmy their way around you, which never seems realistic. I guess you could try to engage the enemies in the terrible range combat that features no real way to target an enemy unless you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, which for an action game like this is truly outrageous. A simple lock-on could have solved it, but it's as if the devs thought people should engage in their melee combat more, and just didn't think about the range combat at all. There's a character progression system for skills, an augmentation system that is barely explained, and the economy in the game seems poorly balanced against buying anything. And I haven't even mentioned the hacking subgame so far that is plastered all over it, and features a woefully generic cyberspace, which involves little more than circling around enemies and hoping you can shoot them enough before a timer ends, and you're forced to wait for a bar to recharge so that you can go back in and complete the hack. It's half-assed stuff like this where I just wish the developers had spent a bit more time on the game, or kept it in early access or something to continue to build out the features more. As much as I like Cyberpunk and the art design though, I just can't quite recommend Dex at the current price of $20, but I could possibly encourage you to give it a look if it drops below $10 during one of the infinite sales that happens with PC games. For now, just take solace in the fact that the genre is well in hand by other studios, and boot up Shadowrun Returns or Dragonfall again for another playthrough. You'll have a much better time.